to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiru Show here. Now, let's begin. When we last left off, or where were we starting, Deku is having a nightmare. These feel no different than his usual ones. He sees Mr. Shigaraki in his dream. He feels the entire world turn to dust around him. He then feels himself going and whisking away into the wind. And he usually wakes up screaming. Now, as he does that, he actually looks out his window, and this is whenever he would see shadows moving. He's not sure what to make of this, but he just plays it off as another nightmare. Now, let us continue the next day. Deku and Mina are talking as they are making their way to school. Deku, he barely got any sleep because of the experience, and Mina can notice this. She's actually asking what's been going on with Deku since all that happened. Or about the other day, if the experience kind of stuck with him. Deku's just saying no, he had this weird nightmare. What was it about? I think it was about everything turning to dust. Oh, you mean like when you use your quirk? As Deku's thinking about this, he realizes what exactly that means. As they hear the bell ring, they realize they're going to be late for class. As they take off running. Now, I want to say around second or third period, this is whenever Deku would hear something over the intercom. The teacher is saying, "Izuku Midoriya, please come to the principal's office." And people are basically paying attention to this as they're thinking, oh, the villain's finally in trouble. Now, Deku's confused as to why he exactly needs to go up there, but he would. Now, as he's walking up there, this is whenever he sees and he hears one thing. I am here. As Deku turns his head, he sees that the number one hero is standing right in front of him in his school. He's confused for a second as he immediately comes to the realization it's All Might, as he just shouts All Might as loud as he can. And this is whenever everyone starts bursting open their classroom doors as people see the number one hero. They're thinking that Deku's in something really, really serious because of this. Now, this is whenever All Might would just say, this boy is not in trouble. In fact, he has a message to give to him. That Tomura wanted me to give you this, young boy. As he hands over a note to Deku. Deku is confused to what this actually is, and All Might would just say that he's not sure. He is very close with that boy, or he was close to Tomura, but after the accident, he kind of started seeing less and less of him, up until that fateful day. As he looks at Deku, seeing that he's wearing the exact same gloves. He then just asks Deku what his relationship was with Tomura, because he had the same style of ones whenever he was a boy. Deku realizes just how deep All Might's connection with Tomura was actually. He would just say that his quirk is the same as Mr. Shigaraki's. All Might's confused and intrigued. So, are you boys related? What? No, it's weird. People seem to always ask that question. So, you both have the same quirk by chance? I think so. There's only a very little swallowed my tongue there. There's only very little differences between ours. That's very intriguing. Alrighty, well, you have a good day, young man. As All Might immediately just jumps off. And Deku would head back to class. Now, As soon as Deku walks back into class, everyone's actually talking and intrigued about what happened. Mina would just come up asking exactly what that was, and why All Might was even there. Deku would just say that he doesn't know, but he did hand me this, as he holds up a letter. Everyone's in shock as people are just saying, is that a recommendation from UA, and starting to talk more about it. Deku would open it and find that it's not a recommendation, it's something Shigaraki left for him. Midoriya. I'm sorry that I'm writing this, but I've been very busy with hero work. Now, I did want to give this to you in person, but I figured you should go pick it up yourself. By the way, happy birthday. As he just gives the street address and the location. Deku's confused, thinking that his birthday was months ago. So, did he never deliver this? Or send it through mail? As Deku begins walking to the location after school. Mina's kind of confused as to where they're going, and Deku just keeps following the address, asking directions, and actually eventually getting there. Now, after that, Deku, he would arrive and he finds that it's actually an old antique shop. And whenever he talks to the clerk, he actually does get a camera, holding up the note, and the man would just say that, here, as he hands over a very old looking camera, and it's basically one of those cameras where it's digital, but it's also one of the ones where as soon as you take a picture, it gets dispensed and all you have to do is just shake it out. Now, because of that, after that happens, Deku, he's immediately ecstatic, as the man would just say that this has been sitting there for over 3 months, if not probably a little longer. He's confused. Someone was supposed to come by and pick it up then. Oh, sorry about that. Mr. Shigaraki, I just got this today. He probably sent it before as Deku's smile fades. The man would have immediately noticed that, thinking, Shigaraki. His name sounds familiar. What happened to Shigaraki, boy? Oh, he's gone. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on 1 minute. Let me get you one more thing. As the man walks back into the back room, he would bring out a suitcase and some actual film, saying that these have been sitting back there for a little bit of time, but the film should be good and the suitcase was never picked up. It's been sitting there for almost half a year. As Deku, he immediately just super excited, he would thank the man and then leave with Mina. Mina is confused as Deku, he checks the camera and there's audio film in there. He immediately just gets to work on taking pictures. Taking pictures of the day, taking the pictures of the night, and actually having the sun set. Now, as that happened, Deku, he begins to unravel quite a bit of things about the camera. It's considered a vintage camera since there's only very few models of this one. It's also American. It was imported from the US. Along with Mr. Shigaraki leaving, well, from what he can tell, he bought this from out of pocket, considering it seems like it was fairly expensive. Now then, Deku's taking a lot of pictures, and let's cut to about a month or two later. Deku's been sparingly taking pictures so that he doesn't ruin or waste all the film at once, and his reel is almost full. He captures 1 to 2 more pictures, and he is actually sitting. It's the end of the day at school, and he's actually sitting next to the window, as he's watching the sun actually set. He immediately gets to work by setting up the camera, and getting ready to take the picture. As he takes it, he only has 1 frame left he can take. Now, Deku, he is excited for this, and This is whenever some people would walk into class. Now, they're actually saying that, so, you're that kid everyone's talking about, the villain, right? I'm not a villain. Okay, Decay. That's just the name of my quirk. So, what does it do? Obviously, it breaks down things, but how does it work? Like, I'm gonna tell you. All I can tell you is this: don't get close to me. As Deku holds up his fingers. They are immediately confused, as Deku, he would immediately begin by taking off his red glove, and holding out his hand once again saying, "If I touch all 5 fingers, you'll turn to dust. So now, leave me alone." So, you really are suited as a villain. Deku immediately gets annoyed as he walks closer to the kid. He immediately just holds his hand out and saying, "Boo," as the guy turns and runs. As Mina would walk in saying that, "Geez, I was gonna intervene, but you do seem a little bit more like a villain." "Hey, oh come on, I know you only do that for intimidation." "Well, it's hard being me." "Well, I'm guessing so. People always think that you're a villain with that quirk." "Your quirk's not too different, Alien Queen." "Hey, I'll have you know I love those movies." "I know you do. You made me watch it 5 times." "So, it's a good movie. You don't watch it 5 times in 2 days." Well, maybe not you. As Deku, he walks over and picks up the camera as they begin leaving. Now, oh wow, okay. As they are leaving, they both begin walking home. As they are talking, Deku, he immediately just sees the scene where essentially I believe it was the Kirishima and Mina, they saw that villain basically talking to the girls, where he was really just asking directions. Now, let us say that that happened now, because I don't actually know when in canon it did happen. If it happened during the 11 months before UA, someone please correct me, because I believe it happened around this time. Now, Deku, he actually watches as this all just goes down, and Mina, they're both watching this happen. Deku immediately runs in as Kirishima is confused as he watches these two do that. Deku, he immediately runs in, he immediately just undoes his glove and brings his hand up, saying if he's going to threaten them, to leave them alone and deal with him. The man is confused, and Mina, she would immediately just shout that this way, or she basically shouts the directions to the police station like in canon, and the man just ignores Deku as he walks away. Deku is confused by what she did, and she would just say that that guy was kind of asking for directions. "So where'd you send him?" "The police station." "We should probably run. I think that'd be best." As Deku picks up his backpack and begins running. Now, after that happens, Kirishima's having that midlife crisis where he's wondering why his body didn't move. Even then, the guy they call a villain Even the guy they called a villain stepped in. Does this mean I'm spineless? Ugh. Why am I like this? As Kirishima goes through his midlife crisis. Now then, let's see. Deku and Mina are walking, and they're somewhat jogging now. As they come up to a bridge, they notice that there's some guys hanging out there. They immediately turn around to try and go around, and they see more people. Except they realize that these are actually their upperclassmen. Now, they basically say that they heard what happened in class today. So, the villain's threatening people now. That's fun. As the man immediately begins popping his knuckles, or the upperclassman begins popping his knuckles, and he immediately brings them out to fight Deku, saying that if he wants to fight him, just actually use his fist, not your stupid little quirk. Otherwise, just know I got people watching. Now, Deku says that he's not going to fight him, as one of the guys actually just grabbed Deku from behind, grabbing his backpack. Deku immediately turns around, yelling at him to give that back. The guy just immediately opens it, and he actually takes out the camera. Deku sees that, and he just starts shouting to give that back to him. If you really want it, go catch it, as the guy just tosses it over the side of the bridge. Deku immediately just sees it as he actually goes running and actually jumping for it. They're all in shock that Deku actually jumped over the bridge to catch this thing. Deku, he grabs it, but as he does so, he realizes exactly how he messed up. This is whenever Mina would actually run over and she's able to catch Deku. She catches him by his ankle as he's holding the camera by a strap. He's basically being dangled as Mina is barely able to hang on. These two are about to fall over the bridge as people are essentially shouting for them to just drop the villains. In fact, her quirk's very similar to his, isn't it? That acid quirk? I'm surprised. So, Little Miss Tusu's is actually the villain's sidekick. Should have known. As they're saying this is whenever Kirishima would actually run over, saying that this is stupid. As he actually begins pulling Mina up. He would get her up, and Deku, he basically grabs Deku by his pant legs as he begins pulling him up. Now, he would just say that something's awfully important's got to be with that camera, to risk your life like that. Of course it is. The only person who's ever treated me like a genuine human gave this to me before he fucking died. Everyone immediately drops silent as they realize just how much sentimental value that means to Deku. As Deku just says that the person who gave this to him was a pro. He risked his lives for people like you, and he had the same quirk as me. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. As they see Deku actually curling his hands in a fist, and he actually just walks over to the guy who dropped the camera, or if not, threw it over. He immediately just brings his hand up, wrapping it around the guy's face, as he says, if I didn't have my glove, just know, if I dropped my little finger, your skull would be gone. Now, stop messing with me. As he walks away. People actually begin getting out of Deku's way, as they realize that if a pro gave him to that and the pro died, then it really isn't funny. Especially if he had the same quirk as the villain, it just means the villain can be a hero. Now, Mina would basically thank Kirishima as she runs after Deku. Now, she just asks exactly why he did that. He would just say he loves this thing. He's had it for what feels like forever. Anyways, I'm guessing that that fall over the bridge probably ruined my last frame. Frame? Well, yeah, I actually can develop film with this thing. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. As Deku comes home, Inko immediately just greets Mina, saying hi to her as both of them go to Deku's dark room. Basically, he just puts sheets up over his windows and he replaces his light bulb to red. As he does get out the special ink, if not, I believe it's... I don't remember what it's called. I think there's a certain name for it. But you basically put the photos in it and you hang them up to dry. And it will reveal what you took a picture of. Now, Deku, he actually does this and he begins soaking these and actually putting them up. As some photos start revealing themselves. Now, after that happens, Deku, he is immediately happy, as a lot of the photos he's taken are actually revealed. Now, as he actually does do the last frame and puts it up, he actually starts looking through as it's a picture of him and Mina behind him, along with all those upperclassmen who basically were there whenever he went over the bridge. Except for one thing. He sees a man in a hoodie in between two of the people. He's just further out in the distance, by the end of the bridge. Except he's in a hoodie and he has blue hair. Deku sees this as he's looking closer, and he thinks he sees a hand on the man's face. What? Mr. Shigaraki? As Mina, she immediately just opens Deku's door and slides back in the room. However, this does actually ruin the frame. And Deku immediately just pulls out the picture and he just starts shaking it violently. No, 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 no. Are you okay, Midoriya? No! I saw Mr. Shigaraki. In what? The photo. Where is he? Well, when you walked in, you kinda blurred the image. Really? Oh, I'm sorry. I tried being careful with the door. I know you did, but at least the others are fine. As Deku actually does pull down a picture of him and Mina, basically chilling out and watching the Alien movie. Now then, that is where I'm going to be leaving things off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and we have a mystery on our hands. Shigaraki, body never found, classified deceased. Now then, that is where I'm leaving off, guys. I hope you enjoyed.